Students, now we are going to see the chapter objects. It is in section B. This is the part 1 of the chapter objects. So students, this object and classes, this is the repeated chapter you are studying from class 9 to 12. Okay, so you can follow any book. Class 9th book also this chapter is explained clearly, and class 10th also you are able to learn, and class 11th also we already completed these chapters and you did the assignment in these chapters. Again it is repeating in class 12th. Okay, so you know what is called object and what is called a class. So what is called an object? An object is an entity with certain characteristics and behavior. That is called as an object. And class means it is a group of objects that it can binding together the data and member methods into a single unit. So here two types of programming, that is procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming. Okay, so now we are going to see what is called as a procedure oriented programming. So in procedure oriented programming, the program is divided into number of procedures, that is functions. In procedure oriented programming, we are giving more emphasis for this procedures or the functions. Okay, so the high level languages provide easy approach to the users in developing their logic to solve any problem with the help of a computer. These languages are called independent because one can develop and understand programming logic without having much knowledge about the computer architecture. Conventional programming using high-level languages such as BASIC, COBOL, Fortran, and C are commonly known as procedure-oriented programming or POP. The procedure-oriented programming approach allows the user to develop their logic by applying a number of functions. So in procedure oriented programming, if we want to develop a program, we have to use number of functions to enable the program productivity. Okay, so this is called procedure oriented programming. So uh, the definition of a procedure oriented programming is like this. Hence in procedure oriented programming system, the emphasis is on functions rather than data items. Okay, so there is some drawbacks also in procedure oriented programming. So what are the drawbacks of the procedure oriented programming? As data values are global to all the functions, we may require to make necessary changes in the function due to any change in the data values. So if the data values are changed, then we have to make modifications in the corresponding functions. Second one is it is not suitable to solve complex problems in real situations. So to solve the smaller problems, we are able to use this procedure oriented programming. Now we are going to see some characteristics of procedure oriented programming. Um, some characteristics are there, that is the emphasis is on functions. Okay, logical steps, it give more emphasis on functions. Functions share global data. The third one is data values can keep floating from one function to another. So if we are using more than one function, so the data values can we are able to use from one function to another. The next one is use top-down approach of programming. Okay, so in procedure oriented programming, we are using this top-down approach. Okay, in this chapter you will expect only 2 marks and 3 marks questions. Okay students, now we are going to see the object oriented programming. An object oriented programming is a modular approach which allows the data to be applied within stipulated program area. It also provides the reusability feature to develop productivity logic, which means to give more emphasis on data. So in object-oriented programming, we are giving more importance for the data. Okay. So in the procedure-oriented programming, we are giving more importance or more emphasis for functions. Okay. So this is the main difference between the object-oriented programming and procedure-oriented programming. Now we are going to see some features of object-oriented programming. First one is it gives stress on data items rather than functions. Okay, so it is giving more importance in that for the data items rather than functions. Second one, it makes the complete program or the problem simpler by dividing into number of objects. Okay, here the program can be divided into number of objects, not functions. Okay. Third one, the objects can be used as a bridge to have data flow from one function to another. The last one is we can easily modify data and function as per our requirement. So these are the features of object-oriented programming. Now we are going to see some basic elements of object-oriented programming. It is otherwise called as the principles of OOP. That is the principles of object-oriented programming. Okay, so the principles of object-oriented programming are objects, class, data abstraction, encapsulation, data hiding, inheritance, polymorphism, and dynamic binding. Now we are going to see some characteristics and behaviors of real world objects. Okay, you can observe anything fulfilling above mentioned criteria has unique identity, definite shape, that is the state of the object, and characteristics and behaviors. Okay, for example, we are taking the table as an example of an object. Okay, so what are the characteristics of the table? It has 4 legs. Okay, yeah, the second one is it has a plain platform. These are the characteristics of the real world object table. And the behavior of this object is it is used to keep glasses, anything we are able to keep. It is used to keep books. Okay, so etc. So the table is used to keep something in the plain platform. So these are the behaviors, these are some of the behaviors of the real world object table and the characteristics. Okay, now another one example we are going to see. Let us consider a real world example. The principal of a school wants to know the performance of the students of his school in the council result. He sends a message from his desk to the school office. So principal desk is the object 1 and the school office is the object 2. To get the information, the school office in turn passes the information to the principal, which is referred as message passing. It can be illustrated as follows. So the principal sent the council result of the school to my office. He is sending the message here. Okay, the message is passed. It is an argument. It reaches the school office. The office sends a copy of council result to the principal's office. So the information is made available, return value. So this is the real world example for message passing. Okay, students. So here some pictures of the real world objects are here. First one is fan, second one is micro one, third one is clock, and fourth one is the monitor. So these are the objects. These objects are having some characteristics and behaviors. Here again it is repeating. Class is a group of similar type of objects which possesses some attributes and behavior. It also defines the abstract characteristics of an object, including its attributes, fields or properties, and the behaviors. Behaviors means the things that can do, or methods, operations, or features. You may say that a class is a blueprint or factory that describes the nature of an. Why class is called as the factory of objects? Because it is producing the objects of same type. Okay. For example, if we define a class car, then different types of cars like Maruti, Santro, Indica, Nano are referred as objects under this category. It means that the different types of cars are similar objects belonging to the class car. Okay, so the car is a class. It is producing more objects, that is more cars of different types. So these are the types: Maruti, Santro, Indica, Nano. These are the types of objects. Okay, but it included under the class car. So this class is called as an object factory. In some applications, we can also create a class within class to represent the system. If we want to create a class people, then the class inside the class may be man, woman, etc. Okay, let us consider the rainbow as a class where different colors, violet, indigo, green, can be referred as the objects. Each objects have some characteristics and behavior which are defined for the class rainbow. Okay, students, so these things are repeated again and again. So you can read all the 4 books. Which one is suitable for you, you find it and you can understand. Only you know everything about the class and the objects. Without knowing the class and the objects, we cannot able to study the Java programming. Okay, so the main thing is why the class is called as an object factory here. It is explained in this paragraph. See, here it is shown like that. This is the class. Rainbow is a class. It consisting of these colors. Okay, 7 colors are there. Each colors having some characteristics and behaviors, but the objects are similar objects. Okay, the objects are similar, but their characteristics and behaviors are different. So this is the illustration of creating an object from the class rainbow. Okay, that is a rainbow violet. So rainbow is a class, violet is an object. So how will you create a new object? By using the keyword new. This is an operator. Okay, new is an operator and rainbow of, this is a constructor. Okay, so similarly we can consider a class named flower with rose, lotus, marigold, etc. are the objects which may contain the common characteristics and behaviors defined within a class flower. Okay, flower is the class and this rose, lotus, marigold are the objects. Here we are creating the new objects of the class flower. Okay, so this is a class, this is an object, and this one is the operator and this one is the constructor. Okay, these are the examples how to create an object for a class. And now students, now we are going to see the use of the new operator. The keyword new is a keyword. So the keyword new is used to allocate the space in dynamic memory for the storage of data and functions belonging to an object. So to allocate the dynamic memory for the storage of data and functions belonging to an object, we are using the keyword new. Thus, the class is a set of similar objects. Each object of a class possesses same attributes and common behavior defined within the same class. So what is called as the attributes of a class? As you know, every object has its own identity, whereas a class contains data and methods. Methods means functions. The data are defined as data members and methods as member methods. So the belongings to the class, that is the data members and member methods contained within it, are termed as attributes of a class. Okay, the data members and the member methods contained within a class is termed as the attribute of a class. So the definition of this attribute of a class is like this. An attribute deals with content of an object to make the object distinct. Okay, students, here you have to learn the use of the new operator. Okay, now we are going to see the difference between the class and the object. So you already know, there is no need to explain. First one is, it is the representation of only an abstraction. Object is a real and unique entity having some characteristics and behaviors. Class, it is an object procedure and hence called a blueprint of set of objects. Blueprint means copy of a set of objects. Then object, it is created with the use of new operator. So object, from a class, if you want to create an object, we are using an operator new. Then class is known as an object factory. Object is known as an instance of a class. What is called instance of a class? The objects that is used inside the class. Okay. So here now we are going to see the objects and their attributes. Okay. For example, suppose you have two television sets at home, but they may be physically distinct from each other with different attributes, that is the number of channels, then screen size, power consumptions, etc. Some of the attributes of the objects or class are explained below. For example, students, class student attributes. So these are the data members we will use: name, father's name, date of birth, blood group, address, phone number. Okay, so here the name also, these are the common fields, but the functions methods will different. Okay, so here if the name of a student is Ram, so his father name is different and his date of birth also different and the blood group also different, address also different and phone number also different. Okay, so the data members should be same but their attributes are different. Okay, so one example is student, another one example is television. Now students, we are going to see the definitions of all the principles of object oriented programming. Encapsulation means the system of wrapping data and function into single unit is known as encapsulation. Okay, the next one is data abstraction. Data abstraction refers as an act of representing essential features without including the background details. The next one is inheritance. Inheritance is the process by which objects of one class can link and share some common properties of objects from another class. The next one is polymorphism. Polymorphism, poly means many and morphism means forms. Okay, so polymorphism is the process of using a function for more than one purposes. It allows the use of different internal structure of the object by keeping the same external interface. The next one is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding is the process to link the function call with the function signature at runtime, that is during execution of the program. So here we are going to stop this first part of this chapter, objects. In the coming parts we are going to see the remaining questions. Okay.